And here we go. So this is the first page of my art journal that was made by my friend Paula. And a lot of you asked where you could get this. Paula made this for me, but it was inspired by Donna Downey's Inspiration Wednesday journal. So if you'd like to pick up a journal similar to this, go check out Donna Downey's website, and you can pick one up there. So I started with ripping up some old dictionary paper into just a whole bunch of little, about half-inch chunks. And then I am covering this whole page in gesso. I am pretty sure that this particular paper, this journal's made up of different types of papers. And I'm pretty sure this one was a basil or something similar cardstock because it had a texture to it. And it was pretty good thickness. It didn't like water that much, but that was okay. So now I'm just using some fluid matte medium, and I am collaging down all of those different pieces. And what I love so much about collaging down dictionary pieces is while you're doing it, you get to read some of the words, and some of the stuff stood out for me. So it was really cool getting to see some of the different things. And one of the pieces I'm getting ready to put on had a big A on it. So, and you know I liked that because got the A in the name. I got two of them, really. Three if you count the last name. So, anyway. So I am just collaging this. I wanted to do this technique. I haven't done this technique in a long, long, long time. And I mentioned it on a video a long time ago. And I said I would do it, and I didn't have the next product I'm going to use, so I couldn't do it. So then finally I went to Hobby Lobby, and I don't care for that store, so I try not to go there as much as possible. And I know before you all go, oh, he doesn't like Hobby Lobby. No, he likes their products. He doesn't like some of the stuff they do. So I try to get my stuff anywhere I can other than there. But yeah, I'm a hypocrite because I'll still go there. So it's all good. I can admit it. So I am still just sticking down some collage. That's really what's happening here. And just using that matte gel. And the reason I just said this page is because the next page, the page behind it, is the art is journal page that I made with the Crazy Island family and Miss Lady Petal and Gina Ahrens, and I forget Gina Ahrens' name. Don't hate me. So it was Claudia Rossi, Gina Ahrens, and Peta Thompson. And that's the second page behind this. So it's covered in paint, and it was all warped, and so I wanted to try to balance it out. So once I had that all dry, the collage was all dry, I took Crackle stuff. What is this called? Help me here. Distress Crackle Paint. And this is the clear rock candy. And I love this stuff. I goop it up real thick in the middle, and then feather it out a little bit toward the edges. And I don't just do the parts that have text. I feather it out a little bit past the text. And I like this because it breaks up the text even a little bit more than the collage does. So it's really cool. I've done this on a couple like chunky page swaps that I've done years and years and years ago. So these are all silk acrylic glazes, and they are so pretty. And I'm pretty sure this one's Snapdragon. And so now I'm just taking this and covering that whole area that had the Distress Crackle paint after it's dry. I let this dry for like a week, and it doesn't need to dry that long. But I was working on that steampunk box, which I sold. Yay! Thank you so much, Risha. I was like, yeah, that sold. So I was very, very proud of myself for that. So while I was working on the steampunk box, this was drying, and I just forgot about this page. So because I got so engrossed in that steampunk page. So once the silks were dry, after you saw I sprayed them down with water, let them drip both ways, and then I used my distress tool just to put some black soot into those cracks of that distress paint, the Distress Crackle paint. And I'm just kind of feathering out that black. I didn't like how harsh the black looked. So Feather that out, and this is a little bit more distress, or excuse me, silk acrylic glaze. I cannot speak tonight. And pardon the noise, I'm going to dig out the colors. I'm pretty sure this is Emperor's Gold. I'm using a fan brush and a little bit of water. Oh, Yellow Rose, sorry. And last but not least, I wanted to add some sparkle to this page because all the silks didn't add enough sparkle. I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to the white areas without adding color. So I used silks in the color Oyster, and it's really pretty. It's sheer. As you can see, I'm going over the purple, and it's not affecting the purple, but it adds this gorgeous shimmer to the whole page. So, let's see, anything else new going on? I made my first sale. Yay. Can totally call myself an artist now. I'm contemplating what to make to put up for sale next on my website. I'm contemplating doing maybe some small canvases. I have to think about shipping and all that jazz, but I'm thinking maybe canvas boards. This is Bombay India ink or Higgins India ink. It's an India ink, black with a Liquitex spatter brush. And as always, the supply list will be on my website, so feel free to go check that out. And I'm just pulling a couple of die cuts out of the 7 Dot Studio paper collection, which is called Destination Unknown. And then I'm just looking for some metal bits, and I have some cheesecloth back there. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to put on this page. So yeah, if you have any ideas on what you'd like to see for sale, if there's something in particular, I was thinking some like really cool mixed media bookmarks, or I don't know. I'm still running things through in my head. So this is some Rub and Buff, and it's gold leaf is the color, and I am coloring up an old key, and I'm going to color up that silver circle thing right there. And then I'm also going to color that staple, which is in the middle of the page. It's a huge staple. It came from some package, or I forget what it came from. And I saw it and I was like, ooh, giant chunk of metal, have to keep. So I have a box, like a shoebox full of just funky metal bits. So I'm rubbing some of that Rub and Buff that I have left over just onto the page here and there. Today I found an old laptop that I got when I graduated high school, and this thing was like an 1.5 inches thick. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. It had a floppy disk drive in it. I disassembled it, and yeah, so now I have a bunch of pieces from that you'll probably be seeing. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking those paper pieces, and I scribbled a little bit of Inktense, that block right there, onto my craft sheet, and then just used my finger to rub it onto the paper, and it turned the Inktense into almost a chalk, which is pretty much what they are, but it made it, if you've ever scribbled with Inktense, you'll know it breaks up into like giant chunks. So if you scribble a little bit on your craft sheet, use your finger to blend it, it turns it into a really smooth chalk, almost like eyeshadow. So I end up not using this little heart. I'm not even sure where it is. Oh, it's sitting on my table. And I sprayed gold Heidi Swap Color Shine onto that book text die cut. And that die cut was made using the Spellbinders die, which is called Sprightly Sprockets by Donna Salazar. It's one of my favorite dies. I just love that die set. That is the one I go to more than any other. And so I just let that dry. I didn't hit it with the heat gun. I just walked away at that point. So my craft sheet was a mess when I came back. But it dried really cool. It's really shimmery, and yeah, it's pretty. So I'm gluing everything down with Fabri-Tac. And first I glued that down. I figured it was shimmery enough it would stand through all the cheesecloth. So I'm trying to figure out placement. And I glued that little silver ring that I turned gold with the Rub and Buff onto that key, onto the top of the key, just to give it a little funky dimension. And then I am gluing that whole thing down. And if you probably saw, I drug the edges of the tag through the Heidi Swap gold color shine. So that's why the edges of the tag are like practically glowing gold. So cool. I love the Heidi Swap. CC from Creation CC. She's one of Donna Downey's Artist Gang artists. She swears by the Heidi Swapp color shine in gold. She's like, it's like liquid gold. It is, and it's incredible. And my mom's calling. I'll call you back, Mom. So I mounted a little piece of foam on the right side of that tag, so that way it would match the dimension of the key on the left, because I wanted the key to be behind, but I wanted that tag to be flat. So there's just one piece of foam on the right, and I used Fabri-Tac to glue it down. Then I took a sticker. This is from the same paper line from 7 Dot Studio, and it says Dreamer. And I took it and I covered it in Heidi Swapp Color Shine, and it kind of made it get crumply and funky. So I end up bending up the edges a little bit just to give it a little worn, tattered look. Since it got so wet, that's why it kind of started to get crumply. So I couldn't trust the adhesive, so I had to use Fabri-Tac. So there you can see I'm using that staple thing to kind of smush up the sides. And I had put a little bit of that rub and buff onto that staple as well. So I was trying to make sure I was able to slip that staple in where I want it to be. And I go a little off frame here in just a second. So right there, I took a Tim Holtz tassel and sprayed it with Color Shine, dried it thoroughly. It got sticky, but then after it was dry, I just broke up the chain, and it looks gold now. It's cool. And a little bit of Fabri-Tac and a flat back pearl to put where the hole in the die cut tag should be. Since it's a die cut, it doesn't come with the hole in it, and I couldn't find my crop dial, so I was too lazy. And last but not least, I grabbed for my Distress ink in chipped sapphire and just edged the pages kind of sloppily. Some of the areas are a little darker than others, some kind of hit the pages a little bit, but that's okay. I was happy with it. I just wanted it to pull in the edges and tie everything in. And that does it for that page. I'm really happy with how this page came out. Whoa, that was a really fast transition. I hope it doesn't look like that in the end. So I'm really happy with how this came out. The color scheme is not my typical color scheme. Even though it's purple and yellow. And I did do a couple splatters of bubblegum pink dilutions, and then I blotted them up. So there is just a hint of pink in there. So I hope you liked the page, and I will see you all soon. Talk to you later. Bye.